So I get asked a lot about leads, conversion, money, what should I do, marketing, all kinds of stuff. And I just want to give you a little breakdown of kind of how I look at these things. Because what it is it's not one business. Marketing is not like one thing. There's a whole bunch of micro businesses. And if you're just a CEO of a C-suite of one, you have to deal with a bunch of these things. So let me just kind of break this down for you a little bit. So you've got leads up here, right? You've got leads, and that a lead is nothing more. It's a name, phone number, email address. I don't know the level of intent, good leads, bad leads, whatever. There's a lead, and they're assigned some kind of cost. Whether that you're buying, some kind of data leads at 50 cents, $1 a piece, could be that you're doing live transfers. So these are probably going to range from a few cents all the way up to hundreds of dollars. And I ask you this, when you look at a lead source, it is neither cheap nor expensive. It's cheap or expensive to you, and how well can you convert? For most, I would tell you, if you had somebody that could prepare you live transfers at $250 a piece, but 50% of those went under contract, and then 50% of those closed, and it was $250 a lead, that would be like golden. Because I look at a couple of different things. Thing number one that I like to look at is that again, some nuance here, depending on state, different things, but I like to look at the cost per a closed loan to be somewhere at $1,000 or less. We're here in Michigan. Our average loan amount's somewhere around $250,000. So that would be roughly 50 basis points is kind of the max that you want to spend on any given loan to bring it in the door. So that's kind of just a rule of thumb I like to use. I want it to be 3 digits and not 4 on the cost per funded loan. So you've got the leads up here. How many of those leads, so what percentage of the leads that you get turn into a prospect? Now, prospect's a little bit more. You understand income, assets, those kind of things. Prospect is kind of about what you'd get from like a generic apply now link. You're going to get more information on the client, but it's going to drop off. So I want to understand. So I buy leads. How many of them turn into an application or an apply now link? You use your own nomenclature. I'm not trying to tell you what to call it. People like to call it different things. Once you have prospects, a lot of times your pre-approvals will land inside of prospects. How many of those does it take to get a loan into process? So what percentage? And there's a lot of things that go into that, right? Your leads convert because of your CRM, all that. How many of them get into process? How many of the loans that you bring into process end up actually closing? And this is the number that I want to be when it's all said and done. From the top to the bottom, I try to kind of shoot for that being someplace $1,000 or less. So if you've got a realtor partner that you're working with and they want to do some co-spend and they want you to spend, a couple grand on some event, some whatever, like the expectation really needs to be like, hey, I just want to let you know, like, this is kind of how I model my business. Do you think this is a realistic expectation based on what you close, those kind of things, that I'll get that type of return here on my investment? I want to partner with people that can make sense for both of us. So target it on that. If you're in a different area, larger loan amounts, you can for sure look at things different. And then down here is the big variable. And sometimes it might make sense to pay more if you can get the R and the R are referrals and repeat business. So if you've got a client that's coming back through refinance, like there's different reasons that you would want to do this, but this is kind of where all of your money is made. So everything that you're doing from the top to the bottom, back and forth, both ways, is intended to optimize. So when it gets all done, you've wowed that real estate agent so much that they feel comfortable sending you a referral. You've taken such great care of your client all the way through that they're willing to do the loan with you again, that they're willing to recommend their friends, family, everybody. So I would break out each one of these steps. And up here, you've got, right, your CRM, you've got email, you've got your social, right? All these things that are potentially driving leads. And a lot of you don't even look at the cost, but a lot of you are using SEO people. You're using marketing people. You've got all kinds of people that are taking money from you. So if you're spending $2,500 with somebody running your marketing stuff and doing your stuff, and you're closing one loan, even if, right, that one loan cost you $2,500, is your cost per funded loan. This right here is $2,500 if that's your situation. However, a lot of people are willing to do it if they see the long term that they're building something bigger that is going to give them referrals and repeat business. So hopefully this is just gets you thinking a little bit. But the first place to start is you have to understand your metrics. What are you actually spending today all in to get a closed client? And that's only the beginning of the game. I can't optimize for closed clients, but I can optimize for leads. How do I spend as little as possible to get the highest quality leads? I can optimize all of my systems to not turn away people and actually turn them into prospects, get that next bit of information. You're gathering information. I can do a whole lot of stuff to bring more people into process, better follow-up, tighter game, more succinct, just more awesomeness. You can do that. And once in process, how well is the handoff? How well is my ops team? How well do I actually keep things moving forward? Did I qualify them correctly? You control each and every one of these steps. So if you're an independent broker, mortgage person, somebody that worked retail and has now moved over and responsible to handle all of these things inside of your business, you now have to have multiple hats. You got the sales hat, but I need you to put on your marketing hat. Your marketing hat's going to look at optimizing all these things. I need you to put on your chief, well, I don't even know what chief, your CFO hat that's going to look at these and look at all the things from the metric standpoint, the cost. But you're running a business that can be super, super lucrative, but you can't throw shit against the wall and hope. If you want it to be scalable and predictable, each one of these steps needs to be mapped out. You need to have a system, and the people that do it the best, the people that do it consistently, their business doesn't look like, a roller coaster. They keep things level. Each one of these things, they're constantly tweaking and optimizing. So I don't know what your cost per funded loan is right now, and you may not either, but it's definitely something worth digging into, worth looking at, and then figuring out what are the 1, 2, maybe 3 things that you could do right now today. So in 60 days, 90 days, 6 months, when you look back at your business, you've increased, lowered the cost per funded loan, but increased the process kind of all the way through. So you're responsible for this. You're the CEO of a C-suite of one. That's you. You've got 1,440 minutes every single day. Optimize your systems, and I believe all things get easier. If you got questions about doing this, you want to kind of dive into your business, you want to look for ways like, hey, maybe where can I tweak things? What can I do different to get a better result? Reach out. Love to have a conversation with you. That's it. Check it out. Here's good stuff. Learn your numbers.